First of all, it was an unbelievable crowd. Starts in Gamecock Walk, unbelievable crowd. 6, 8 people deep. Season hasn't gone exactly the way we wanted to, and I can't thank our fans enough. That was unbelievable, and our players appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's the best I've ever been anywhere I've ever been, as far as the support and the passion that they have for us and support for us and making a difference on game day, and just absolutely amazing. And we need it again next week. It's senior night, and we've got a bunch of guys that mean an awful lot to this program and personally to me. We need to support them and send them out the right way, and I know that our crowd will be there to support us. Again, I thought it was very workmanlike. I think offensively very balanced. Obviously, we ran the ball well. We threw the ball well at times. We had a red zone turnover and 2 turnovers on down, which I think sort of eliminates some scoring opportunities for yourself there. But we did move the football, and we had the 1 turnover early hurt. But again, very good balance on offense, and really after the first series, we give them 2 third downs. We line up all sides at the corner position. We got another. What was the other penalty there? That's right. They got that one. We had 11 penalties, and they had 2. That's kind of interesting for me. But Brian Edwards set a school record for 14 receptions. And continues to set every record at that position here at the University of South Carolina. You think about some of the greats that have played here, and Brian certainly is in that category. His competitive edge is off the charts. The way he practices, the way he prepares, the way he does everything is awesome. He had 14 receptions, so he's got the career receptions lead, and also the 14 receptions a game was a school record. But really proud of our guys. An SEC win at home, and we'll get ready for next week and I'll open up for any questions. Really good on third down, and I don't know, is Gene here today? He's in the booth. Well, tell him we got his analytics. Ryan ran, so now we're a good offense. Right? That's kind of the way that works, huh?
Well, what's the update on Shy Smith, Jalen, and Nick Muse?
Yeah, I should have updated. I think we're going to get Rico and Dylan Warren back next week. Shy tweaked his hamstring in Tuesday's practice. We did a little bit with him Wednesday, a little bit with him Thursday, just didn't feel comfortable with him going. So I think we'll get him back next week. Josh Van broke a bone in his hand. I don't know what this, obviously it's casted right now. I don't know, where that is as far as that's concerned. I don't know much about Nick's knee right now. They're going to obviously do an MRI tonight. And then Jalen got rolled up in the last ball game. And so Ja'Kai started at right tackle, and we'll evaluate that as we move forward. I think we'll get Dylan back. But Ja'Kai's going to be a really good football player for us, and I think that's it injury-wise. I think that's it. So we'll look at that. Feaster had a groin. He's had that. He's managing through that right now, and I think that's it.
Well, I think you guys really settled down after that first drive defensively. Were there any adjustments made, or was that just kind of your guys kind of settling in a little bit?
Colin, not really. They hit us on the double move. That was something they set up pretty good. They've run that from that look. The quick out, and we bid on it, and probably that was overcoached by myself and T-Rob of going and playing that route. So that's on me as a coach. That's not on the players right there. That's on me. But just knick-knack. You line up all sides on third down. You got the PI on the first third down. Just not. There was nothing big. I think they hit 1 run for 11 yards. I think they had 3 explosives for the game, a 12-yard run, 11-yard run, and the 26-yard pass. I think it was 26. Yeah, it was 26. So just some things. They just were able to stay on the field. I think it was about a 16-play drive. 11 plays. Well, it felt like 16. So, but that was really it.
Was there anything you saw in practice that led to giving Fenwick the ball 18 times, and how will his performance today affect?
Well, you always got to be ready when your number's called, and things didn't go very well. And I told our football team this in the locker room. Things didn't go very well for Deshaun. He's got Rico's playing. I'm talking about when we started game planning for our first ball game, and Rico's playing, Feaster's playing, Mon Denson's playing. Kevin Harris is emerging, and Deshaun's in that 4th or 5th role, which we were a one-back team, so it's kind of hard to find your place. And actually came to me and talked about, transferring. And I told him, I said, you need to stick this out. You really do. And that's a good thing's going to happen. You're a talented guy, and you just need to stick it out. Life's not fair all the time, and things don't always go your way. And I talked to him about just in general life of being a husband and being a father, and things go against you, and you can't quit. you got to sometimes stick it out. You can't just take your ball and go home. And that's the way our world is nowadays. You don't get your way, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go home and go somewhere else. And he stuck it out. And I pulled him up in front of the whole team, and I told the whole team that. It's a great example of a guy that just kind of sticks it around, continues to work, and when his numbers called, he played well. He did a nice job. So, hopefully get some more opportunities as we continue to move forward. But, great example of a guy that just actually handled adversity and fought it a little bit. It's really neat.
Does the changing personnel with the injuries on offense make it difficult to establish a rhythm
it does.
there?
I thought Brian did a really good job of finding some things. Chavis has got a little bit of a hamstring. There's a lot of moving parts right there, and there's a lot of youth on the field right now. And again, I thought that we handled the situation well. We should have had more points. You talk about a red zone turnover and 2 turnovers on downs down there. We should have had more points, but at the end of the day, we got the win. We did what we had to do to win.
Given all that flux, how big does it make it that Brian has been a relatively steady presence offensively?
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, the guy's effort and competitive edge, and he competes every down like it's his last down, and that's what I see. But I've seen that for 4 years now, and we're certainly going to miss him, but he's going to go down one of the Gamecock greats of all time. And saw his mom, Michelle, when I got off the buses for Gamecock Walk, and just told her how proud I was of Brian and how he's played. I didn't see John, but, just a great family, a great Gamecocks came to us when we wasn't very good, had other opportunities to go to a lot of different other schools, and came here and has had a wonderful career.
Just what went in the decision of having Brian and Dan kind of switch places and Brian go up top?
Well, they'd already had a discussion. I came in on Sunday. I said we need to change something up, and we need to do something different. And they had Vandy at their last ball game, especially high percentage wise, had shown some looks that we felt like we needed some look back, which you saw us do probably more look back than we've done all season today, and that was because of that. Felt like Brian would see it better from the box, but I told him we needed to change something up. But they'd already had the discussion when I came in.
At what point did you kind of settle on getting DeCarrion in as much as he did today,
Right.
and just how kind of good was that to use him that much after he had to
Well,
sit out?
we're going to continue to use him. The last 2 weeks he hasn't been healthy enough. It was totally an emergency situation. He was going to have to be a pocket passer and hand the ball off. It was not going to be a run. Was not going to be an option. He was healthy enough to be able to do those two things, but not run the ball. And so we had that discussion going into the Florida game and the Tennessee game. So we've been able to move Jay back to receiver to give him some looks there, which he can help us there. And we got to continue to expand DeCarrion's package. We've got situations where they'll be on the field together. So we'll continue to do that moving forward. Sometimes it's hard when a young player misses a lot of practice time. It's difficult, and that's been a little difficult.
Did you like what you got out of him today?
Yeah, I think so. We continue to expand the package. I mean, they bolted down pretty much there at the end, and we had a hard time running it. But they're filling up some gaps, but we'll continue to expand that.
Kind of progress have you seen from a guy like Jamie Robinson in the secondary from where he started last or at the beginning of the year to now?
A lot of progress, Colin, and I think that we ask our Nichols a very difficult job. He's a guy that's got to fit into run force in the slot. He's a guy that's got to be able to win in man coverage a lot of time against the best receiver on the other side unless we're in a matchup situation. The hard thing you get in with tempo teams, and they weren't, but sometimes with tempo teams, it's hard to sometimes get the matchups you want. They kind of force your hand a little bit defensively, so you want to make sure you get covered down. But we ask a lot of our nickel. The guy has played good football for us this year and continues to improve week in, week out, and it's very difficult. Again, like we're asking Ryan and DeCarrion and some of the younger guys on offense, Ja'Kai, Jalen Nichols. Xavier Leggett caught a touchdown pass tonight. It's going to be a really good football player. Returned his first kickoff for a kickoff return today. So some really good young players on our roster. Kevin Harris out there today. But, that's a very difficult position to play as a young player, and I think he's done a really nice job.
Could you speak a little more to just the youth and with the freshmen that you guys have, how promising have they been for you guys in terms of their productivity?
Well, they've been, very productive. You start out with Ryan. And Ryan's, 24 of 31 tonight. Made a hell of a throw to Ryan to Brian on the third down. He checked that based on the look. It was a max look, and he got it out. I mean, it's just, they continue to, it's all with the at-bats, you continue to improve. You continue to get better, especially at that position. You know, Ja'Kai Moore and Jalen both have started at tackle for us. Xavier Leggett was a key contributor for us, you know, at the receiver position. Jamie Robinson's been a very, you know, dependable guy for us. Zach Pickens has played well for us up front. You know, Kevin Harris has been a guy that through the years, you know, glad we're getting him back, which is in a time that we need him. So we really like the guys we've recruited, and you know, we've played more freshmen than anybody in the country, I think, in 4 years, and started more than anybody in 4 years. So we're willing to play guys that are good enough to play and get on the field and can produce for us. You play.
Well, you mentioned the penalties. Obviously, Israel had the first two on that first drive. Is it just that the kind of thing that snowballs when you get a couple earlier? Is it just that kind of night?
No, lining up off sides is stupid. So we got to teach them better to not line up off sides.
What did you just kind of see from Ja'Kai overall? You know, getting thrown in like that.
Big athlete. I mean, you watched him in high school. You know, recruiting from up there in Virginia, and just I went and watched him play basketball, and that's a huge evaluation for me to see a guy bend his lower body, change the direction, you know, quick, 300-plus pounds, and be able to get off the floor, played above the rim. When you're able to see that athleticism, and you meet Ja'Kai, he's a very intelligent young man. He's very bright. We had him in camp. We worked him out. So, I mean, all the stuff added up. That's a very difficult position to play as a freshman. But he started tonight. Thought he did a decent job. We'll evaluate the film. But you know, a guy that, you know, we think is going to be a really good football player for us.
After the second half against Tennessee, did you see the progress you wanted to see from your offense going into these last 4 games?
Well, it's just this one. I mean, that's the only one we can count right now. But I thought we had good balance. I thought, you know, we were outstanding on third down. We were 9 of 15 on third down, staying on the field right there. We got to get better in some short yards and goal line situations. That was abysmal. But, you know, in those other situations, you're able to run for over 200 and throw for over 200. You're going to be pleased with your outcome a lot. And, again, you get in the red zone and you capitalize on, you know, 2 of those 3 or, you know, 3 of those 3, you feel a little different about the score. Yeah.
But the second time this year, you've had a kind of a weird play where a pass gets batted back to Ryan, and then you kind of tries to throw it again. Is a QB just supposed to duck out of the way of that?
You can't throw 2 forward passes on one play. So we just got to bat the ball down, not catch it, bat it down. So we'll continue to. I'll have Dan. We'll do some drills on that on Monday.
The short yardage situations you referred to a second ago, was Vanderbilt just getting good push on those, or were running backs missing holes, or is it something you'll have to go back and look at?
We'll go back and look at it. I mean, sometimes, you know, when you run lateral and they're bringing what I call soft pressure, the same will off the edge, it's hard and they get penetration. You know, so it's very difficult sometimes to find a crease as a back in that situation. It's very difficult for the offensive line to find the right angles to block in that situation. So we just need to evaluate what we're doing in those situations, because I thought it was tough. Make sure y'all check Gene's analytics for me. Coach, it's back off.